So let's talk about how you can save time with content batching and how to actually do it for your small business or your brand. Really quick though, before you dive into this video, make sure you go watch this video where I talk all about content pillars. This is such a key step before we even talk about batching. So first we need to talk about what content batching is and why you should even do it for your business. Content batching is just a process to help you save time and energy when you are trying to post a ton of content, either on social media, your blogs, or wherever. It's a way to almost time block certain activities that go together in the content creation process, because content creation involves a lot of different moving parts. Sometimes you have to plan and set up your equipment. Other times you need to sit down and write and create the content. Then next you have to schedule it and make sure it gets posted. There are a ton of different steps in the content creation process, and what we want to do with content batching is to minimize the time that it takes, because it is very time consuming, and make sure that we are efficiently creating a system to create that content for your small business. So for instance, you're watching this YouTube video on a particular week. Maybe you watched my YouTube video last week and you noticed that I'm wearing basically the same exact thing. And that's because I like to sit down and batch create all of my YouTube videos. Prior to doing this though, I have batch created all of my scripts. Like I know exactly what I'm gonna be talking about. And that would take me like an hour of my time to sit down and make sure I have all of my ideas ready. It's loosely scripted, so I know what I'm talking about. I figured out my titles, my call to actions, so that when I go into this filming process, I just set up my camera once, do my hair and makeup once, and I can sit down and record all of these videos in about an hour. Now, once I'm done recording these videos, again, since I already have my equipment out, my hair and makeup done, I'm gonna record any supplemental content that I need. So maybe I need to take a picture for the thumbnail. Maybe I need to record a TikTok video to promote this YouTube video. Again, I'm just creating these little batches. I'm avoiding multitasking is basically what it boils down to. And the biggest part of batching your content is once you are in a certain mood, or once you are doing one specific task, it is so much easier to just continue doing that task rather than trying to take a pivot and move on to the next content creation phase. So again, like I mentioned before, I scripted all of these YouTube videos in about an hour. That's 4 different videos. So for me, that's a month worth of YouTube video content. And oftentimes I know like we always feel a little stuck, whether you have like writer's block or you just don't know what to post. Once I sit down to start scripting, it might take me a little bit of time to get in that mode of like, I need to sit down and write a bunch of things and think about a bunch of different things. But once you get into that mode, it's so much easier to just crank it all out in one sitting. And this helps with the efficiency process, because if you think about it, let's say I sat down to record all of my YouTube videos on a Monday. It's gonna take me a minimum of 2 to 3 hours just to crank out one video. I'm gonna have to go and do my hair and makeup, which is gonna take at least 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to set up my equipment. I'm gonna have to script the video. I have to record the video. I have to export the video. There's so many different steps. Then I have to think about this and that. It could take up to sometimes 3 hours just for one video. Whereas today, when I'm sitting down to create all 4 of these videos, it's gonna take me 3 hours to do all 4. So if you think about it, and I sit down to create a YouTube video every single Monday morning, that's gonna take 12 hours a month. Versus batching all of my videos, it might take me 3 to 4 hours in total for the whole month. Batching just helps you create efficiency and consistency when it comes to content. And again, it just helps you avoid multitasking. And this holds true in any type of content that you're creating for your business. I obviously just talked about my YouTube process, but I do the same structure with the newsletters that I create, with the social media posts, with my blog posts, with any type of content, or honestly, with anything in my business. I try and batch them all together to save me time. Okay, so now we need to talk about the how. And I actually love sitting down and planning my content 30 days in advance. So we're just gonna use Instagram content creation as an example here. So let's pretend you wanna post 1 time a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. First, start with your 5 content pillars and align them to the days of the week. Again, if you haven't watched that content pillar video, this is why. This is a very key important step in this content batching process. So I know I mentioned I like to plan my content 30 days in advance, and that's gonna seem very overwhelming because you're thinking, oh my God, I have to come up with 30 different content ideas. No, we're gonna break it down to make it feel a lot easier and a lot simpler. Again, using the batching process. So now that you have your content pillars aligned to the days of the week, now what you simply have to do is think of that one content pillar, let's say it's Monday, and you think to yourself, okay, there's 4 Mondays in the month. I really only need 4 content ideas that fit in that pillar. And again, 4 sounds a lot less than 30. And when we start to break it down in this way, your mind is really gonna get used to this efficiency, and it's just gonna help you in the long run. And then just do the same for the rest of the days in the week. So then you move into Tuesday and come up with 4 different content ideas for that. And again, once you're in this ideation phase, it might take you a second to get there. You might have to go to Google or Pinterest and start to think of some content ideas. But once you get into this ideation phase, I promise you the ideas are going to come quicker and quicker to you. And then you'll have all 30 days worth of content ideas. As you're going through each of these stages, it helps you time block certain key activities so that you're not multitasking. That's the whole point here. It's going to get easier and you're going to get faster at each part of this process so that you're efficiently creating content one phase at a time. So after you have all of your content ideas, I want you to start thinking about the content format. And now, this doesn't mean you need to go and create all 30 pieces of content. I don't want you to get burnt out and overwhelmed. Again, we're just in the ideation stage, in the planning stage. So again, let's take this Instagram example. So you're planning out 5 days a week what you're going to be posting on Instagram. Now, take a look at each one of those ideas and figure out the format in which you want to deliver it. So maybe you have a content idea that you're like, that would be perfect for an Instagram story. Then the next content idea, maybe you're like, oh, that'd be a great carousel. Start to go through and figure out how you're going to actually post that content in what format. This also helps you strategically think about the different ways you're showing up for your audience across Instagram. So you can start to see certain patterns. If you're like, I have a lot of stories or I have too many carousels, I need to diversify my content a little bit. Again, in this batching process, you're going to be able to shift things and make sure it's aligning to your overall strategy. So now that we have planned out all of that content, we need to actually focus on creating all of that content. So I used to preach this all the time that yes, of course, I just planned 30 days of content in advance. I used to be the kind of person that would go and create all 30 pieces of content in advance. And when I had a social media agency, this worked really well with my team, but I know that I talk to a lot of small business owners that don't quite have a team, or you're a solo entrepreneur, and trying to create 30 days worth of content in one sitting is very, very overwhelming. So since we just focused on planning out 30 days of content in advance, now you can figure out how you want to create that content. Okay, so coming back to the Instagram example, now you have those 30 days worth of content planned in advance. Maybe you want to actually create that content though 1 week in advance, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, that's only 5 pieces of content that I need to create. Maybe it's 1 reel, so that's 1 video. Maybe it's 2 feed posts, so you just need to jump into Canva really quick. Maybe one's just like a quick photo with a caption, and then the last one would be a story. When you break it down in that way, it just seems a lot easier to go and create this content all at once. So once you take a look at the ideas that you have for the week, you look at the format, start to figure out what visuals you need, what you need to write, what you need to create as graphics, and then go in, again, batching, we're time blocking. Go and record all your videos at once. Go into Canva and create all your graphics at once. And then once you're done, go and create all of your captions all at once. So again, we're not multitasking and you're not having to go each and every day and try and post something in the moment, and it's just a scramble and you end up wasting a lot of time. And then just a bonus tip here, I actually like to plan my content in Airtable so that I can have it all in one place, and then I schedule it in later to make sure that all of my content is going out in an auto-published format, meaning I create it all at once, I schedule it all at once, and it gets posted on its own. And then all I have to worry about is managing my community and not creating a ton of content in the moment. So if you followed all these steps and still feel like you're missing out on a little bit of information, I have something special for you. You can actually click on the link below in the description box to get my free guide on how to batch content like a pro. And remember, if you haven't figured out your content pillars yet, make sure you go back and watch this video, and don't forget to hit subscribe.